The provocation. The Galactic Alliance had maintained peace across 17,000 star systems for nearly 2 millennia. Composed of 12 elder species, they presided over the expansion of civilization with calculated precision, welcoming new species only after centuries of observation. When humanity burst onto the interstellar scene, the Alliance regarded them with thinly veiled suspicion. Humans were different. Where other species took thousands of years to develop faster than light travel, humans accomplished it in less than 3 centuries after their industrial revolution. Where others expanded methodically, humans exploded outward in all directions, establishing 37 colonies in just 50 years. Their adaptability was unnerving, their creativity alarming, and their resilience unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed. Still, the Alliance had welcomed them, albeit reluctantly. Keep your potential enemies close, High Chancellor Xoriv of the Zephyrans had said during the closed session debate. The Zephyrans, tall blue-skinned humanoids with crystalline growths protruding from their shoulders, had led the Alliance for 600 years, their technological superiority unquestioned. Helios Station orbited a yellow dwarf star near the border of human and Zephyran space. It housed 3,000 humans, scientists, engineers, and their families, studying stellar phenomena. The station was unremarkable except for its location, positioned at a strategic hyperspace junction that could, theoretically, provide quick access to the Zephyran homeworld. Ambassador Kira Chen stood before the Alliance Council, her face a mask of controlled fury. At 45, she had spent 20 years in diplomatic service, earning respect even from species that view humans as impulsive children. "We demand an explanation," she said, her voice echoing through the crystalline chamber. Above her, holographic displays showed the smoldering remains of Helios Station. 3,000 civilians, 200 children, gone without warning, without provocation. High Chancellor Xoriv tilted his elongated head. "The Alliance regrets this incident. Our preliminary investigation suggests a catastrophic power core failure. These things happen in the vacuum of space, Ambassador. Risk is inevitable." "Convenient that your investigation took only 6 hours," Chen replied. "Especially considering it would take at least 20 to reach the site from your nearest outpost." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The representatives of the Volxen and Meridani, species historically sympathetic to humans, shifted uncomfortably. "Are you suggesting the Alliance is not being truthful?" Xoriv's voice carried a dangerous edge. "I'm suggesting that power core failures don't leave energy weapon signatures. I'm suggesting that your blockade preventing human ships from approaching the wreckage is suspicious. And I'm suggesting—" Chen's voice dropped to a frigid whisper that somehow carried across the entire chamber, "that you've made a terrible mistake." The Alliance Intelligence Director, a Zephyran named Krex, stepped forward. "We have evidence that Helios was not merely a research station. Our deep probe scans detected quantum calculation arrays consistent with military applications. The station posed a clear and present danger." Chen laughed, the sound brittle and sharp. "You destroyed a civilian station based on deep probe scans, scans that somehow detected our quantum entanglement communications, designed for instantaneous contact with Earth during solar flares. The Alliance acted in accordance with Defense Protocol 7.3. Xoriv declared, "When faced with imminent threat, preemptive action is authorized." Ambassador Chen stood silent for exactly 30 seconds. The chamber grew uncomfortably quiet. "Earth has been patient," she finally said. "We've endured your trade restrictions, your technology embargoes, your constant surveillance. We've followed your rules. But this," she gestured to the hologram, "this changes everything." Xoriv's crystalline growths glinted under the chamber lights. "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" "No, High Chancellor. It's a fact. You've crossed a line. There's no going back." Within hours, Earth recalled all diplomatic personnel from Alliance space. Human trading vessels altered course, returning to human territory. Comm channels fell silent. The borders closed. "They're retreating," Krex reported in the Zephyran war chamber. Just as expected. Humans talk boldly, but when confronted with superior force, they back down. High Chancellor Xoriv wasn't convinced. Or they're preparing. Intelligence reports indicate unusual activity at their shipyards. Their military is insignificant. Supreme Commander Vix scoffed. 43 warships against our fleet of over 900. Their most advanced vessels can't match our older models. If they're planning something, it's futile. Perhaps, Xoriv conceded. But I'm doubling patrols along the border nonetheless. On Earth, the United Council of Humanity convened in an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. The massive chamber, carved from solid granite, housed representatives from all human worlds. "We have confirmation," General Sophia Rise announced. "The attack was deliberate. Our quantum sweep of the debris field detected Zephyran energy signatures. They targeted residential sectors first, ensuring maximum casualties." Prime Consul Jacob Steen, the highest elected official of humankind, closed his eyes briefly. At 78, he had lived through Earth's first contact, the Mars Rebellion, and the Proxima Centauri terraform crisis. None had prepared him for this moment. "Options?" he asked. Admiral Marcus Vega, commander of Earth's fleet, stepped forward. "Conventional response is suicide. They outnumber us 20-1. "Then we surrender?" asked the representative from Alpha Centauri, voice trembling. "No," Vega replied, his dark eyes hardening. "We unleash Aurora." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Aurora was more than a military project. It was humanity's ultimate contingency plan, developed in secret for 15 years. "Aurora isn't ready," warned Director Eliza Jong of Advanced Technologies. "It's ready enough," Vega countered. 87% operational. The fleet is assembled, and crews are prepared. "And the probability of success?" asked Stein. "Based on our intelligence on Zephyran capabilities and our simulations," Vega said, 63%. "If we can achieve complete tactical surprise, closer to 80. Consul Stein looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each representative. "The Zephyrans believe they've intimidated us into submission. They expect us to negotiate from a position of weakness, to accept reparations, and move on. They've mistaken our patience for weakness, our diplomacy for fear." He stood, his voice gathering strength. 3,000 of our people cry out for justice. If we do nothing, we signal to the galaxy that humans can be culled with impunity. I will not lead a species that accepts such terms. The vote was unanimous. 3 weeks passed. Alliance intelligence reported minimal human military movement. A few skirmishes at border outposts, quickly repelled. Demands for reparations went unanswered. Human space remained silent, eerily so. "They're sulking," Supreme Commander Vix told the Alliance Council. "Their ships patrol their borders but venture no further. Our observers report business as usual on their colonies." And yet, Xoriv mused, their ambassador's final words trouble me. On the edge of Alliance space, an automated research station detected an anomaly, a brief gravitational fluctuation lasting 2.3 seconds. The station logged it as a sensor malfunction and continued its observations. 6 more stations across Alliance space recorded similar anomalies over the next 3 days. None raised alarms. The irregularities were too small, too scattered to trigger alert protocols. In the shadows between stars, where sensor coverage was minimal, ships emerged from hyperspace. They weren't the bulky, visible vessels of Earth's known fleet. These were different, sleek, dark, and eerily silent. They moved with purpose, positioning themselves at strategic points throughout Alliance territory, undetected by conventional scanning methods. The Shadow Fleet, Aurora's vanguard, was in position. On Earth, Admiral Vega stood before the United Council one final time. "All elements are in place. Once we begin, there's no turning back." Prime Consul Stein nodded gravely. "The Zephyrans gave us no warning. Extend them the same courtesy. Operation Aurora is authorized. Vega sent a simple encrypted message to the fleet. Remember Helios. Across Alliance space, in perfect synchronization, humanity revealed just how patient they had truly been. The storm was about to break. The reckoning. The first sign that something was wrong came when 3 Zephyran monitoring outposts simultaneously went dark. Located in different sectors, their synchronized failure puzzled Alliance Command. Likely a communications relay issue, Supreme Commander Vix dismissed. Send technicians. 2 hours later, 7 more facilities fell silent. No distress calls. No battle alerts. Just complete, absolute silence. By the time the Alliance recognized the pattern, 23 installations had vanished from their networks. Intelligence Director Krex burst into the High Chancellor's chambers. Protocol forgotten. We're under attack, he gasped. But we can't detect the attackers. Across Zephyran space, something hunted in the darkness. The Shadow Fleet, ships built in secret orbital facilities, hidden in the clouds of gas giants, utilizing technology the Alliance believed humans didn't possess. Struck with surgical precision, these vessels defied conventional detection. Their hulls absorbed rather than reflected sensor pings. Their engines left no traditional energy wake. They appeared as momentary shadows against stars before vanishing again. The first actual glimpse of a human warship came when the Zephyran military headquarters on Asteroid II exploded. Security footage, retrieved seconds before destruction, showed a sleek vessel unlike anything in human registry. Its hull was midnight black, absorbing all light. It fired once, a concentrated pulse that bypassed shields designed to repel energy weapons. High Chancellor Exoriv called an emergency session of the Alliance Council. We are facing a coordinated human assault, he announced, struggling to maintain composure. Their technological capability far exceeds our intelligence estimates. The representative from Meridani, a species of empaths highly sensitive to emotional states, rose from her seat. You're lying, she stated flatly. Your fear tastes of guilt. What have you done, Soriv? Before he could respond, the chamber's secure communication system activated. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. Admiral Marcus Vega of Earth, his expression carved from stone. Greetings, Alliance Council, he said. By now you've realized this isn't a negotiation. This isn't even a war. This is judgment. How did you breach our security protocols? Soriv demanded, recovering his composure. Vega smiled thinly. The same way we've been listening to your private deliberations for the past 8 years. You believed we were technological infants, stumbling into the galactic community. The truth is we've been 3 steps ahead since first contact. Murmurs of shock rippled through the council members. You destroyed Helios Station, Vega continued, because you discovered our quantum communication array and mistook it for a weapon. What you actually found was one small part of Project Aurora, our contingency against exactly this kind of aggression. Vega's hologram expanded, showing tactical displays of Alliance space. Red dots pulsed across the map, Zephyran military installations and shipyards. In approximately 6 hours, we will have eliminated 90% of Zephyran military capability. We are not targeting civilian centers. Unlike you, we don't murder children to make a point. This is an act of war against the entire Alliance. Soriv shouted. No, Vega corrected calmly. This is an act of justice against the Zephyrans. The rest of the Alliance has a choice. With that, the transmission cut. The chamber erupted into chaos. In orbit above the Zephyran colony world, Terrace IV, a pitched battle rage. Alliance vessels had finally managed to engage 3 Shadow Fleet ships. Despite outnumbering the humans 6-1, the Alliance vessels found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Captain Lena Novik commanded the UES Nemesis from a neural interface cradle. Her consciousness merged partially with the ship's systems, allowing her to feel every sensor input, every minute adjustment in trajectory. This technology, human minds linked to their vessels, gave her awareness no eye could match. Targeting solution acquired, her weapons officer reported. 3 Zephyran cruisers in optimal strike zone. Engage, Novik ordered. The Nemesis fired, not conventional weapons, but gravitational manipulators that momentarily increased local gravity 1,000-fold. Alliance shields, designed to deflect energy and matter, couldn't block a fundamental force of nature. The Zephyran ships imploded, crushed by their own mass. Similar reports flooded in from across Alliance space. Human vessels appeared from nowhere, struck with impossible precision, and vanished again. They targeted military installations exclusively, avoiding civilian casualties with almost surgical care. On the Alliance capital world Zenith Prime, representatives from 11 species convened an emergency session without the Zephyrans. "The humans have demonstrated they could destroy us all," said the Voltson delegate, her scales flushed with stress colors. "Yet they target only Zephyran military assets. Why?" The Meridani empath leaned forward. "Because this isn't conquest. It's retribution. They want justice, not territory." "We've reviewed the Helios station data," the Cradlin representative added. "The Zephyrans falsified their reports. The station posed no threat. They destroyed it because they feared human advancement." One by one, the species of the Alliance faced an uncomfortable truth. They had allowed the Zephyrans to act unchecked for too long, trusted their assessments without verification. Now they all faced the consequences. A coalition formed quickly. 11 species united not against humanity, but to broker peace before the situation escalated further. They sent an envoy to human space carrying the simple message: "We wish to negotiate separately from the Zephyrans. The humans have demonstrated they could destroy us all," said the Voltson delegate, her scales flushed with stress colors. "Yet they target only Zephyran military assets. Why?" The Meridani empath leaned forward. "Because this isn't conquest. It's retribution. They want justice, not territory." "We've reviewed the Helios station data," the Cradlin representative added. "The Zephyrans falsified their reports. The station posed no threat. They destroyed it because they feared human advancement." One by one, the species of the Alliance faced an uncomfortable truth. They had allowed the Zephyrans to act unchecked for too long, trusted their assessments without verification. Now they all faced the consequences. A coalition formed quickly. 11 species united not against humanity, but to broker peace before the situation escalated further. They sent an envoy to human space carrying a simple message: "We wish to negotiate separately from the Zephyrans." Admiral Vega received them aboard the UES Axiom, the flagship of the Shadow Fleet. The massive vessel hung in space like a sliver of midnight, its true size impossible to gauge against the backdrop of stars. "We acknowledge the crimes committed against your people," the Meridani ambassador began. "The coalition of concerned species formally distances itself from Zephyran actions and recognizes your right to proportional response." Vega's expression remained impassive. "Proportional? They murdered 3,000 civilians without warning. There is no proportional response to that." "Then what do you want?" asked the Voltson representative. "Justice," Vega replied simply. "The Zephyran military command structure dismantled. Those responsible for Helios delivered to human courts, and the Alliance reformed so no single species can ever again commit such acts unchallenged." The coalition members exchanged glances. These were substantial demands, but far less than the unconditional surrender they had feared. Meanwhile, the Zephyrans gathered their remaining forces for a last stand at the Scorched Nebula, a region of space where sensor interference might level the playing field against human technology. 600 warships formed a defensive perimeter around their staging area. High Chancellor Exorev addressed his commanders from the flagship Eternal Glory. "We underestimated them once. We will not do so again. When they come, we will be ready." Supreme Commander Vix nodded grimly. "Our intelligence suggests they've committed 90% of their Shadow Fleet to this operation. They're stretched thin across too many objectives. Here, we have the advantage of concentration. When the human fleet arrived, it was not the expected swarm of shadow vessels. Instead, a single ship emerged from hyperspace, the Helios Accords. It hung motionless before the Zephyran armada, seemingly vulnerable. A trap? Vix questioned. Scan it thoroughly, Torov ordered. Before they could complete their analysis, the Axiom broadcast on all frequencies. Admiral Vega's face appeared on every screen across the Zephyran fleet. "This is your only warning," he stated. "Power down your weapons and surrender those responsible for the Helios massacre. You have 10 minutes to comply." Laughter rippled through the Zephyran command center. "One ship against 600. Vix scoffed. "Their arrogance is astounding." "Prepare to fire," Torov commanded. "Show them the consequence of their hubris." As the Zephyran fleet charged weapons, sensors detected unusual activity within the nebula. Energy readings spiked in patterns never before recorded. "What is that?" Torov demanded. The answer came too late. The nebula itself seemed to come alive. What the Zephyrans had dismissed as natural gas formations were actually camouflaged human vessels, hundreds of them, positioned weeks earlier, waiting in silence. The trap had been set long before the Zephyrans arrived. The Battle of the Scorched Nebula lasted 27 minutes. When it ended, the Zephyran fleet existed only as debris. The Axiom, untouched, continued its advance toward Zaphira Prime. On the Zephyran homeworld, panic spread. Their military broken, their allies distanced, they faced the wrath of a species they had grievously underestimated. Orbital defenses prepared for a last stand as the Shadow Fleet materialized in high orbit. But the expected bombardment never came. Instead, human vessels established a blockade, allowing nothing in or out. Admiral Vega transmitted his message planet-wide. "People of Zaphira, your leaders lied to you. They murdered our civilians, then claimed self-defense. We could destroy your world as they destroyed our station. Instead, we offer choice. Deliver those responsible to us, reform your government under coalition supervision, and relinquish your position in the Alliance leadership. Do this, and we withdraw without further bloodshed. You have 24 hours to decide." Across Zaphira Prime, citizens surrounded government buildings. The truth, long hidden by Zephyran leadership, spread like wildfire. Within hours, Torov and his inner circle were in custody, delivered to their own people's justice before being transferred to human authorities. 3 days later, representatives from all Alliance species and humanity gathered on neutral ground. A space station hastily constructed at the midpoint between their territories. There they signed the Helios Accords, restructuring the Alliance into a true coalition where power was shared equally among all member species. Ambassador Kira Chen, now elevated to Earth's High Delegate, addressed the Assembly. "Let today mark not just the end of conflict, but the beginning of understanding. The Zephyrans believed strength meant dominance. We showed them that true strength lies in restraint. We could have destroyed them utterly. Instead, we chose justice over vengeance." She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each representative. "Remember this. Humanity does not seek war. We don't desire empire, but we will never again allow our people to be sacrificed on the altar of another species' fear. Cross that line, and you will find there is no force in this galaxy more terrible than humanity's righteous fury." As the delegates dispersed, a Meridani empath approached Chen privately. "Your species is unsettling," she admitted. "You develop in decades what takes others centuries. You fight with a ferocity that terrifies, yet you show mercy where others would not." Chen smiled slightly. "That's humanity. Contradictions wrapped in possibility. We can be your greatest allies or your worst nightmare. The choice has always been yours." In the decades that followed, the galaxy entered an unprecedented era of cooperation. The Shadow Fleet remained, a silent reminder orbiting Earth, rarely seen, never forgotten. And throughout Alliance space, a saying spread among the stars: Three things are truly infinite: the universe, human ingenuity, and the wrath they unleash when their children are harmed. And scientists aren't entirely certain about the first two.